Web page size is an important factor in determining how optimized your site is. Search engines like MSN, Yahoo, and Google consider load time to be more and more important when it comes to the search engine optimization and PPC quality scores. And file size certainly affects your website's load time. However, many web developers have a hard time determining which page sizes and file sizes are ideal for making sure that their website loads quickly. So in this video, we'll be looking at exactly that, some of the actual data that's been gathered about the average size of HTML web pages, image files, and other components of a website. And this concrete, real-world data will help web developers determine a solid guideline for their page sizes and file sizes. Let's start with some general data on average web page and file sizes gathered from a report titled The Portrait of a Common HTML Web Page, using an HTML rendering engine called WebSeer. The average HTML size on all the sites out there, iframes included, is 25K. And your average image file sizes, JPEG, GIF, let's not have that debate now, PNG, SWF, the average size of external scripts, the average size of external style sheets, and your average size of total web pages, including HTML, image files, Flash, scripts, and styles. Alright, I get it. The inventor says GIF, as in Jiffy, it lives in a Jiffy, blah, 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 blah. But it's not pronounced graphic interchange format. So, I kind of think it's GIF. Anyway, while considering this data, the creators of the Portrait of a Common HTML Web Page report warn that components such as CSS images, framed pages with the exception of internal frames, and media objects which do not use embed tags were not taken into consideration in this analysis. And there are some other things to take into account when considering the use of this data as a guideline for creating your web pages and image files. First, page compression makes a big difference. gzip compression and deflation are techniques that can be used to help heavier pages load faster into the web user's browser. That said, this type of page compression was factored in when performing the WebSeer report, and so pages larger than 130K can still have an efficient load time if compression is used properly. In fact, file compression can reduce the size of web pages by as much as 70%. This way, the lighter version of the web page can be delivered to the web user's browser quickly, and then expanded again so that the user can get the full experience of the higher quality images and other features of the web page. This all takes place without the web user even being aware of what's happening, and so gzip compression and deflation can be a discrete solution for keeping the size of your web pages from being a hindrance to your loading times. Another great argument for looking into it if you haven't already. And now some things to consider about average image file sizes. Many of the numbers in regard to average image files were due to how image files are normally used by web developers. For example, GIF or GIF images had the smallest average file size, most likely due to them being used for flat color icons and spacers. The second smallest image file size was the JPEG format, which is mainly used for photographs, product images, and other images that have a smooth tone. And finally, PNG and SWF images have the largest average file size, but are considered to be more efficient because PNG retains a higher quality, and through the use of file compression, they can be delivered quite quickly. Although external CSS and JavaScript files were not considered as part of the average web page measurement, they were found to have an average uncompressed size of 28.7K. Many web developers use external CSS files for the sake of being able to make design changes more efficiently, and the loading of the CSS files happens at the same time as the loading of the HTML page to which the CSS is attached to. This is why file compression is very important for keeping both HTML and CSS pages lean and helping them to load quickly. Lastly, something to consider for the future, and that's the role of technology in general and its constant evolution. At the time of this video, these statistics mentioned represent the average size of HTML, of CSS, and image files, and thus provide a good guideline for determining the size of your web pages. Simply put, by aiming to keep your web content below these averages, you can put yourself on the faster side of the average load time, and thus make for a smoother and more satisfying experience for your end users. However, as web browsers and internet server technologies become more advanced, it's likely that larger file sizes and web pages will be able to be efficiently delivered. After all, it's not as if all of that content currently out there is going away anytime soon. And not everyone has the time, the energy, and the wherewithal to make these improvements and optimize their sites. So the best approach for any web developer is to test their web pages in different browsers and with slower internet speeds than are currently on the market. This way, they can create web pages that will load efficiently for the wide variety of users who land on their website, and not just under optimal conditions. So all in all, this data can be used as a solid guide for building web pages that will load quickly and will thus help you to optimize your website for the search engines, which is and will continue to be the name of the game for quite some time. For more specific information about creating efficiently sized web pages, see our videos on gzip compression and deflation, image optimization, and, well, plenty of other related topics. Feel free to check out our other videos so you can keep fine-tuning and getting the most out of your SEO. And click subscribe to stay updated with new tips and tricks to get you to the top of the search engine results pages.